Hello and welcome to a very happy Carrow Road where Norwich City have beaten Middlesbrough 1-0. A much needed victory after a pretty shaky start to the season, and the goal was scored by Teemu Pukki, or Teemu Pukki as he has just told me. It should really be pronounced in Finnish, but I don't think he's too fussy. And that also makes it 3 1-0 wins in succession for Pukki, and he scored the winner in all three, of course, because he's been away with Finland and won twice during the international break in the UEFA Nations League. So he's a guy brimming full of confidence, and he's scored 4 goals for Norwich City so far. All 4 have come at Carrow Road, so he's becoming a very popular man around these parts. First time Boro have been beaten this season. They turned up in typical Tony Pulis style. They were structured, they were well drilled, big team, looking to bully Norwich at set pieces really, but it didn't come off for them because Norwich pushed them high. They really worked hard, made sure they had no time to spare on the ball, and Onel Hernandez and Emi Buendia on the wings were particularly key to that. Christoph Zimmerman came into defence in place of Grant Hanley, who of course we know is injured, and the other surprise decision to an extent was that Pukki played up front and Marcus Stiepermann came in for Jordan Rhodes, who was on the bench against his former club. So that worked to an extent. Stiepermann, probably one of his better performances. He was really involved, he saw plenty of the ball, good passing, and he doesn't get knocked around easily. So he got a booking for hauling down Johnny Howson in the centre circle as well. So that went down fairly well, of course. And Carrow Road, very happy place today. It felt like a fairly uniting result. It felt like the crowd really got stuck in because, to be perfectly honest, as we headed into this one, none of us were really expecting Norwich to get the win. Boro unbeaten, they'd won 4 and drawn 2 of their game, joint top with Leeds going into it, and they'd only conceded twice all season. So this is a major result for Norwich, and one that can breathe a bit more belief into the Canaries faithful, which was needed, frankly, because this was the first of 7 games in 3 weeks. So very helpful ahead of going away to Reading on Wednesday night and then QPR on Saturday. Get 3 or 4 points from that and things will be moving along in the right direction, but both of them are games that can be won, of course, and if they play with the same sort of passing style that they showed today, it was quick a lot of the time. Sometimes it was going along the back line too much, and the Barkley let them know it, frankly, in the first half, Zimmerman and closer. And of course everything wasn't perfect, it's not going to be, but they did really dig in, and it felt like Carrow Road worked with the players to get this one over the line. Tim Krul also very much worth a mention today. He probably his best game in a Norwich shirt so far, and of course a clean sheet, very welcome for him. He made a big save in the first half when it was still 0-0. Midway through, Britta Sombolonga beats him close, and Mo Lightner with a very good block actually, but the ball bounced kindly for Johnny Howson, and Krul made himself big at his near post to deny Howson, and then was also needed from the resulting corner. Stuart Downing whipped it in and the ball really moved in the air, and Krul got a good punch to it. Alex Tessie, in the thick of things, of course, scored that brilliant goal against Preston, and he had 3 attempts today. 2 were on target, 1 not quite so much, and certainly tested Darren Randolph with those 2, and he was in the thick of things. And with Marcus Stiepermann pushing higher up the pitch, it seemed to free Tessie a little bit to an extent, and he was able to just maraud around as that defensive midfield shield like you really want to be seeing. Otherwise, the goal came in the 58th minute, and good interplay on the right between Buendia and Aarons. Aarons poked it across towards the penalty spot, and there was Pukki lurking, and with very little room to manoeuvre, just poked it through a defender, under the keeper, and the keeper basically had no chance because it was already in the back of the net by then. He reacted quickest, and that's what we've seen from him so far. He is a sharp finisher, so good for him. And Krul also made a good save from Martin Braithwaite soon after that. Big right boot stuck out to deny him at the near post, and that kept it 1-0 to Norwich. And then the big drama of the second half was Tim Closer was technically shown a red card, although he didn't get sent off. Closer was booked for giving away a free kick just after the goal, and then he also brought down Britta Sombolonga in the 79th minute. Looked like it was a second yellow, looked like he was going off, but all the Norwich players desperately started pointing towards the linesman. Unfortunately, the referee went across to have a chat with his assistant, who decided that it was offside, although everybody in the stadium had no idea what was going on at the time. I can't really remember ever seeing a player shown a red card and then not having to go off, but they got away with it somehow. And as far as Daniel Farke was concerned, speaking afterwards, they all thought it was offside straight away. They thought that was what the linesman was signalling for, but I can't say I saw that flag at the time. So there we go, they got away with it, and sometimes that's how football goes, isn't it? But they really did have to dig in at the end. We saw Mario Vrancic, first time this season, of course, because he's been injured, and he very nearly scored towards the end. Onel Hernandez played in clean through, just held up a little bit, and it was actually Tom Tribal that he set up to shoot, and he poked goalwards, Randolph making another good save. So they really did keep the Boro keeper busy, and I think they definitely come away from here feeling that they deserved the win. Tony Pulis has had a bit of a rant, no surprise, after the game. Said that he thought they should have had a couple of penalties. There was one, Britta Sombolonga, I thought went over far too easily under a Zimmerman challenge because he'd lost the ball basically, so I can't agree with him on that one. I'm not sure what he's saying the second one should be, but they didn't get it. Norwich have won 1-0, and now the whole complexion of the season can change to a certain extent depending on how they kick on. But certainly get another couple of good results in the 2 games to come this week at Reading and at QPR, and this season will be flying.